What is the difference between winning and personal development? Find out in episode 2 of Coffee with Marcin. Boom, 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 boom. Intro's gonna come soon. But what's up, everybody? Right there. So we just got to Greece, flying in for the weekend for my cousin's wedding. Super, super excited. And right now we're actually at the airport. And I know the show is called Marcin with Coffee, but I don't have any coffee. I finished it in the airplane and it's midnight, so I probably shouldn't be drinking coffee. But I still wanted to get an episode in today. So I was listening to a really good podcast on the flight, and it brought up a very interesting question, which is passion versus personal development. And Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels gives it a fantastic example about the difference between how we, for example, in the US, treat passion versus personal development. And the example he gives is in the US, we're all about winning, right? We're goal oriented, win, win, win at all cost. Overseas, in some European countries, they tend to do a focus on personal development. So how does this apply to business? So the example he gives is actually soccer. So in the US, the reason why our US team sucks is because from children, everybody's super, super focused on personal development. On winning, right? So these kids are 7, 8, 9 years old. The parents are fighting in the freaking crowd, screaming, giving trophies, and really, really focused on just purely winning. So if you're fast, then you're a forward and you're gonna go score goals. That's kind of how the focus is. What they're doing in Europe actually, which is pretty remarkable, is they're actually incentivizing coaches and trainers, people that are there with you while you're growing up and help you get to your next step. They incentivize them. So when you become a pro and you signed a big contract, they get a piece of your contract. So imagine that, right? So it really shifts the narrative. It shifts the focus of personal development versus just purely winning. So they're not all about, these 10-year-olds and who has a better record. It's about how do we make these 10-year-olds the best 10-year-olds they can be? Because if you're 10 years old and you're the fastest kid on the team and you get thrown in as a forward, when you grow up and become 12, 15, and 18 years old, you might not be the fastest kid anymore, but you're still been pushed into this forward position, even though maybe you might want to be a goalie. So they're not really focusing on that part, right? So it's not better or worse, but it's just a different mindset, So he was mentioning about a player recently that signed a mega contract, like a $70 million contract. And 5% of his contract, when he got traded to another team, went to his middle school, high school coach. Think about that. How incredible is that, right? So these coaches at these younger levels, PB and high school, are really just focused on making the best possible soccer players in the world because they're incentivized to do so, and not just try to get some vanity, trophy for 9-year-olds. So it was. I just thought it was such an interesting thing, and a shift in the mindset of how, you could train your kids. But if you do have kids, I personally don't have kids, but it's also about how you build your team, right? So again, applying it to business is you could basically try to get the best developer, for example, or the fastest coder, or the fastest editor. And he might be good at that one thing, but what if there's so much more that he could potentially offer? So don't pigeonhole your employees, the people you work with, the creatives. Give them the freedom and work on their personal development, because they might surprise you, and they will surprise you. So yeah, it was just an interesting analogy, and I just wanted to share it, and that's it. So hopefully you guys like that, and give me some feedback. I'd love to hear your feedback about this little episodic thing I've created, and I'll continue doing so every morning. Tomorrow, definitely, when we wake up, we'll get some coffee. Right, baby?
No coffee for me?
She's going to have actually her first cup in years. That was the deal we made when we go back to Europe. She's going to have her first cup. So, all right, awesome. Peace.